Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Spielberg here at the Red Bull Ring in Austria for round 6 of the DTM Trophy 2022. We have got ourselves 2 races this weekend, and this is race number 1. This is race number 11 of the season. And while it is a beautiful day here, and actually track temperature is probably one of the lowest we've had all season, so expect the race to be frantic and expect them to be able to go flat out from start to finish. A tyre saving will be a thing, I guess, but not as crazy as it has been over the course of this season so far. I hope I find you well. Wherever you're watching around the world, let me know. If you're watching on YouTube right now, if you're watching on television, you can indeed post a comment on YouTube, and well, I will do my best to indeed give you a shout out. Let me know where you're watching from around the world, and maybe if you're watching on television, at ActRollVision on Instagram or indeed Twitter. And well, let's get a few people involved then, as we are on board here with Nick Hanke, the number 99 in the Team Speed Monkeys, starting down in P10, but we know that in races, Nick tends to come into his own. We've got Lewis Henkefend then in the number 13 car here. And he's actually got a new car this weekend because the other car, unfortunately, with the incident that happened at Spa, had too much damage. They've got a new car. But there is a message on the car. He is racing for his ground bar for this race and for the rest of the season. Of course, unfortunately, they lost their grandma a few days ago, and there is indeed a message on the side of the car for Oma Renate, which means for Grandma Renate. So my condolences sent to all of the family, and we wish Lewis the best of luck in this race. Here is your championship leader, Tim Heinemann for Toyota Gazoo Racing Germany, powered by Ring Racing, and he starts all the way down in P7. Which for him, he's actually not happy with his position, but he feels like he's a little bit ahead of where he could indeed have qualified. So yeah, Tim always gets results. As you can see, the championship order, Karasani actually closed the gap by 2 points by qualifying in second. The gap now only 58 points, but ultimately Karasani effectively needs to win as many races as possible, right? It's as simple as that. So we have got Tony Louise, of course, watching from Australia. Mark Molan watching from Holland. We've got Links watching from the UK. There's the man with the most luscious locks on the grid, Eduard Kauhalper for BWT Muka Motorsport in the number 18. He starts on the third race, starts in P6 for today's race. Looking very relaxed with plenty of time before we do indeed embark upon our race. Eduardo Martini Motta supporting Tiago Vivacqua. Harker, of course, supporting Sophie Hoffman. We've got Jacob Regal, then the second of our Speed Monkeys cars. Someone who's really come out of his shell in terms of like the social media side of things, the interviews after races, the smile on his face for the most part, just really is enjoying himself, and the race results will absolutely come as well. Starting P5. And then we've got Daniel Greggle, who starts P4. It's been very quick this weekend. There's only 0.03 of a second separating our top 4, so there was absolutely nothing in it. And apart from Tim Heinemann, Daniel Greggle is the form driver on the grid right now. He's 16 years old, the second youngest ever driver to win a race as well. Starts in 4th position. Got Lewis Sim Racing from the Norris Ring. What a brilliant place that is. We have also got just Fabian watching from Romania. And here's Ricky Capo then. Had a pretty unfortunate season so far, but starting to turn it around. After the summer break, things have got a little bit better, apart from, of course, the puncture that we saw at race 2 at Spa merely a couple of weeks ago. But starts in the top 3. Again, top 4 covered by 0.03 of a second. Colin Karasani starts on the front row of the grid. Incredible qualifying performance from him. Was a lot faster than any of the BMWs. The nearest BMW to Karasani starts all the way down in P12. So a very, very good qualifying from Colin. And he needs to have a special end to the season. It really is simple as that. Would I say that he needs to win 4 races out of 4 for him to become champion? I'm not sure it's that desperate yet. Needs to get a big result today. And Tiago Vivacqua, who was just going faster and faster and faster in qualifying, brought it in with about 3 minutes to go, thought he'd done enough for pole. He was absolutely spot on. The Brazilian does start in pole position, and this, well, this is the most focused we have seen him. That is a fact, because normally he's smiling, he's putting his thumb up to the camera. Today it's all business for Tiago Vivacqua, as we are looking at Colin Karasani's zebra livery. Are we going to see the Dutchman do the job over the Brazilian? See him thumbs up there. Love to see it. I say Eduard Kauhalper has the most beautiful locks, but there's some strong competition there, of course. Christian Rava there. Gas is on the right. You're absolutely spot on. We've got Emmanuel supporting Rodrigo from Mozambique. Good to see it. Skolde, welcome as well. Again, let me know where you're watching from. There's Sterian Folev in the number 5. Started at the back of the grid today. Not been the most perfect qualifying, let's say, but in the race will be a different story. Championship standings are as this. 178 points then for Tim Heinemann. Then we've got 120 points for Colin Karasani. Teo Uverhaus is on 117. Then we've got Thiago Vavakwa on 95. Kauhalper is on 71. Daniel Greggle is on 70. Only those 6 drivers can win the championship. It's very unlikely that we will see that happen for the likes of Kauhalper and indeed Greggle. Vavakwa, Uverhaus, and Karasani, I would say, have to be perfect from now here on out and hope that Tim Heinemann has an absolute nightmare. Tim Heinemann's done all of the hard work. It's just the final 4 races to get the job done. The races today, Jan, this is going to be a 30-minute plus 1 lap. So once they've crossed the line with 0 on the clock, then that becomes the final lap of the race. Vladislav Sotirov watching from Bulgaria as well. As we are now in the final stages before we get going for our race. Not long to go. There is the leading car. And Karasani there again on the front row. Needs to be a perfect day. If he is to catch up there to the number 90, Tim Heinemann has to almost get faster lap, has to go out there and win the race. But there are so many drivers around Karasani that will try and take full advantage here. Daniel Greggle, very quick driver indeed. And as previously mentioned, the form driver right now in the championship outside of Heinemann. No ballast on the car, of course. Second race at Spa, had that puncture, so it renders him no success ballast. So it's all about him and the car. There's Jordan Wallace. Definitely the best dressed on the grid today. He is dressed to impress, I can assure you that. Some fabulous shoes, great, some great slacks, and a decent shirt as well. Yeah, he really has come dressed to impress this weekend. Can he get a result, though, in the car? You see a lot of BMWs at the back there. Lots of them at the back, apart from Karasani, who starts in that front row. There's everybody's favourite sim racer as well, Moritz Lohner, the number 11. As we see the Australian flag there, there's Capo. Are we going to see a thumbs up from Ricky? He knows what he's got to do today. He's got to put all of the disappointment of the season so far behind him. And it all comes down to this one race. Get some confidence and push forward throughout the rest of the season. Hoffman, P11, probably had a bit more in the car, I would say, actually, in qualifying. Very, very quick indeed today. And can Hoffman get a very strong result? The last couple of rounds, not really felt it with the car, but this weekend she said, this feels good. The car feels good this weekend. Feel at one with it. So is there a performance out there? So some final chats here going down with the pole sitter, the number 31 there for Haida Motorsport, Thiago Vavakwa. So there we go. You can see the cameras starting to rush off here. Everybody starting to get ready to get involved in the race. And this is where they earn their bread. This is where they earn their points. You can see the 2 BWT Muka Motorsport cars there of Kauhalper and then Almeida directly behind, 6th and 8th position respectively. And we have ourselves just under 5 minutes before we will go green. So So just getting the final warnings here. See, there's Folev, just yet to get the helmet on. And how important is today for Karasani? Seems very relaxed. Growing his hair long once again. But today is so, so important. And he knows it. But he's got to relax. He's got to be cool. He's got to be first. As it says on the side of the car. As you can see, the grid now starting to empty. There's your time at the top of your screens. 15:15 is when we will get going. So as stated before, Tim Heinemann leads the championship. He starts P7. Colin Karasani is second in the championship. It's now by 58 points. It was 60 coming into today. It's now 58. Karasani starts on that front row of the grid, though. Teo Uverhaus is third in the championship. He is 3 points behind Colin Karasani now, but he starts massively down the order. He's down in P12. Thiago Vivacqua, P4. A chance here to get a race victory. He starts from pole position. Big opportunity. First pole position of the season as well. Will Thiago Vivacqua be able to get a race victory? He's got himself 5 third-place finishes this season and 1 second. Yet to get to the top step of the podium. Is today the day? Again, the focus on that young man's face. No thumbs up today. It is all business. As there is Sterian Folev at the back of the grid here in the number 5. Getting strapped in. As the Austrian flag flies here with the wind. Bit of a wind here actually today. So that should affect cars through the middle sector at the very least. We've now got 3 minutes to go before we embark upon our formation lap. And then they will line up 2 by 2. And then it's reaction times. When the green lights appear, the loud pedal will go down. As we see the ball of the Red Bull ring. So here is your official grid then. It's Thiago Vivacqua with Colin Karasani on the front row. Ricky Capo and Daniel Greggle, teammates then on the second row. Jacob Riegel and Eduard Kauhalper are 5th and 6th. Tim Heinemann and Rodrigo Diaz Almeida are 7th and 8th position. Then we've got Lewis Henkefend and Nick Hanke as your top 10. Then it's Sophie Hoffman and Teo Uverhaus in 11th and 12th position. We know how good Teo can be in a race. We've got Mark De Fulgencio and Alexandre Papadopoulos then in 13th and 14th position. Moritz Lohner and Jordan Wallace are in the 8th row of the grid. Then we've got Sterian Folev as your 17th driver on the grid. I found out that Mikhail Patamba is not very well. So, yeah, he's not been very well, as there's a nice Team Woo sticker. Woo! Just like Ric Flair. So many people in the stands today. Honestly, it's almost impossible to find a really amazing vantage point. There are so many fans here today. It's the most packed it's been all season. It's really great to see. I did the grid walk for DTM before their first race of the weekend, and I could bet I was having to throw people out the way. There's just so many people. It's been an incredible weekend, and yeah, you should absolutely stick around for this one. With only 1 minute to go before we indeed go on our formation lap. We've also got a qualifying session tomorrow morning and race number 2 of the weekend as well. So there's plenty of racing action coming your way this weekend. The 3-minute board has indeed been shown, so that means Hoffman will put her gloves on now. That's a little ritual that she has. She waits for the 3-minute board before she'll put her racing gloves on. That's the same every single time. As we see Jordan Wallace and Moritz Lohner, teammates, of course, FK Performance Motorsport, find themselves a bit further back than they would probably have hoped, starting alongside each other with their other teammate, Fulgencio, just up ahead, and their other teammate just behind. All 4 FK Performance Motorsport cars then are very, very close to each other. Kayla Pombal supporting Jacob Riegel as well. Let me know where you're watching from around the world, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you share this on social media. Tell friends about this race as well. It's free to watch. So if you're watching on YouTube right now, let them know it's available to watch on YouTube. And, well, I want to see those flags right now. Let me know in the YouTube chat where you're watching from around the world by putting your flag emoji in the chat. And here we go then. Thiago takes them away for the first formation lap of the weekend. The first lap where they get a chance to warm the tyres up, figure out the track conditions, and then it's just pure sprint to the finish. 30 minutes plus 1 lap. They all go through turn number 1. So you can see the mountains in the background, the long run up towards turn number 3. Will Vivacqua be in the lead going in towards turn number 3? That's the question. It's the one thing that unfortunately hasn't gone too well. For Vivacqua, he's qualified well so often, but his race starts don't tend to go perfectly. Is today the day where that all changes? Got some Team 75 fans as well. We've got Tim fans, Colin fans in the chat. We've got the Netherlands flags flying. We've got the German flags, Australian flags, Canadians as well. Oh, loads of flags here. USA, great to see. So heading then through turn number 4, down and towards the most technical part of the circuit, the middle sector. Not many corners here though, only 10. So not the most technical of tracks, but it will catch you out, it will bite you, and track limits will be a huge factor here today. So 3 warnings or 3 track limits, you're gonna get yourself a black and white flag. You then go beyond the track limits one more time, you get a time penalty. It is as simple as that. Track limits have been very strict this weekend. In DTM, prior to their first race, they had over 200 laps deleted from practice and qualifying. So yes, it is indeed one of the tougher circuits in terms of track limits. Got Uwe House fan as well. We love to see it. Absolutely love to see this. As we head then down in towards the final couple of corners, is Thiago Vivacqua then on pole position for the Hyder Motorsport Audi. Colin Karasani, who again needs a huge race weekend. We said this at Spa, it didn't go to plan. We're here in Austria. We're here at the Red Bull Ring. Will it go to plan this time? Ricky Capo, Daniel Greggle, the 2 Porsches are in 3rd and 4th, and we are about to go green light racing here then. Vivacqua versus Karasani. Who comes out and top it towards turn number 1? It's race 11 of the season here in the DTM Trophy 2022, and it's an incredible start there from Vivacqua. Already got a nice little gap to work with here. As we come up then towards turn number 1, Ricky Capo has been gapped here by his teammate, I think. Vivacqua is going to hold on to the lead here, and Karasani is not going to be able to make that work around the outside. He's off the circuit here, but I tell you what, it's got an incredible run up the hill, and the BMW seems to be so quick in a straight line but struggles through the middle of a corner, is absolutely looking for the lead of this race. You can see that Daniel Gregor under some severe pressure here from Kauhalper as well. Kauhalper up to P3 as we come then through turn number 3. Tim Heinemann sends one up the inside of Ricky Capo. He now moves up to a top 5. Bad news for indeed Colin Karasani. And Karasani, who was momentarily in the lead, has lost it as quickly as he got it there, as Vivacqua indeed recovers beautifully well. He goes up to P1. And wow, what an incredibly clean start from everybody concerned. Karasani is not in the lead of this race. It's Vivacqua as they come down the hill. Ricky Capo is going to run wide. He's going to lose 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 spots. As actually, you can see Almeida makes a mistake, runs off into the gravel. Then Capo has to get onto the brakes. They're off the power at the very least. And now he's just fighting to try and keep hold of this position. Through the double left-hander, they will come. And Jacob Riegel's made up a spot here as well. So Riegel now up into a top 6. Heinemann, though, what a start it's been from him. 7th on the grid. Doesn't feel like he's got a very quick car this weekend, but already up to top 5. And that is championship mentality for sure. Leading by 58 points coming into this race. But ultimately, trying to make a bad weekend into a half-decent one here. 2 P5s, and he walks away from this weekend leading the championship by still quite a considerable margin. With 2 races to go, and he's going to be super, super happy. End of lap number 1 then. Vivacqua still leads this race, then Karasani just in behind. And then you've got Daniel Greggle, who is catching very quickly indeed. Karasani maybe looking for a late lunge here and towards 1. Doesn't quite try and make it work. And again, he's got to race clever here. As Henkefend sends one up the inside a bit further back as well. Has he got the job done? No, he has not. Henke covers it off nicely as well. Both of those drivers raced in the M2 Championship last season. So great to see them battling on circuit as we see Karasani then forced to take the outside line up towards turn number 3. Very deep under braking, very late under braking here. here. Vivacqua holds that inside line, squeezes Karasani out wide there, and I think Karasani was quite far alongside, really, to expect any more room to be given. And well, this battle is indeed going to continue. Greggle's made a mistake here as well. He's dropped a little bit further back. Karasani flashing the lights there just to let Thiago Vivacqua know he's still there. Pretty sure he knows that, that's for sure. There's a massive BMW sign in his rear view mirror as it stands. Tim Heinemann is just sitting nice and pretty here. A P5 is not the end of the world kind of result here. Hoping that Cal Halper and Daniel Greggle maybe have a bit of contact, have a bit of a coming together, and he can pick up the pieces of what happens from that battle. As we come then through the double left-hander in the middle sector here, Vivacqua runs a little bit wide, but again, holding firm. The middle sector is the easiest place to really defend around here. You're not under too much pressure because you just hold the inside line. And it's very difficult. It's too fast of a section, really, for anyone to go round the outside. Down then through turn 9, down towards 10. And if anything, Daniel Greggle has actually recovered really nicely during this lap, as we see Papadopoulos then losing a position here to Moritz Lohner. So there we go. Moritz Lohner is going to just about keep hold of that, as Karasani's now got a track limits warning on this last lap. Karasani, though, in the slipstream down towards turn 1. Vivacqua moves over really late there. Karasani reads it. Daniel Greggle is going to close that gap. Although Vivacqua's now going to run wide, and he's going to be, well, under a lot of pressure coming up this hill, up towards 2 and 3. And I think Karasani may have an opportunity here. Almost bump drafting Vivacqua here. It's almost like he's trying to just separate these two from the rest of the pack. Up towards 3 they come. And Karasani, again, not quite close enough alongside, but look who's catching up now. Greggle closing up here. We've also got Cal Halper closing up. Tim Heinemann is almost looking at this thinking there might be some freebies here. Is there a potential for a podium? It's still, though, the Brazilian with 25 minutes, 50 seconds to go, leading this race. Everybody in very close proximity, as you see in the background there. I think Lewis Henkefend is trying to make a move a little bit further up the grid here. And actually, it's on Thiago Vivacqua, not Thiago Vivacqua, it's Teo Uverhaus. So Teo Uverhaus also in the BMW. They're both making their way through the pack here nicely, as Capo is still in P8. Regal in 7th. We've then got Almeida, Heinemann, Cal Halper, and again, at the front, it is Daniel Greggle in 3rd spot with Karasani and Vivacqua just a little bit up the road. Very close between them all as it stands. 1.9 seconds separating these. And then there's a group of 6 cars that are separated by a little bit less than that. And actually, it looks like Nick Hanke is closing onto the back here of Henkefend as well as we speak. Yeah, Hanke just pulled out there just to let him know, do you know what, I will make an opportunity for myself if the door is left open. Karasani with an incredible run out the final corner here, though, by the way. Vivacqua under some severe pressure as we come then across the start-finish line. Tries to find a little bit of a gap then up the inside. Vivacqua squeezes him, forces him to go round the outside. If you're going to make the stick here, Colin, you've got to do the perfect move around the outside. And I tell you what, Colin Karasani, take a bow. That's a delicious bit of driving. Vivacqua made it difficult. It's still not done here. But that could be move of the race, and that could be a move that gives him a race victory. Up the hill they come. Vivacqua still keeping it on the inside here, still side by side between the two of them as we round up the top of the hill through turn number 3. Bit of a mistake there from Karasani, but should get that power down a little bit earlier. And Daniel Greggle now gets involved as well. Down the hill they come. Vivacqua is still side by side with Colin Karasani. Who's going to come out on top then through turn number 4? Well, you think Vivacqua would, just by the way they're going into the corner. He runs a little bit wide there. Look at Greggle trying to find a little gap to work with. And Karasani, that was an incredible bit of driving, and it still wasn't enough. Thiago Vivacqua holds firm. He holds the lead of this race. And again, in the background, Cal Halper, Heinemann, now Almeida as well. They're all licking their lips here. They're thinking, do you know what? There's a chance of winning this race if they all keep battling like this at the front. Incredible stuff from our trophy drivers. Through the S's, they do indeed come. This is lap number 4. With 23 minutes, 40 seconds to go. And well, that's a long way to go, ladies and gentlemen. If the racing's like this for the rest of this race, well, I'm not sure I'm going to make it to the end. This is ridiculous stuff, brilliant stuff, and exactly what we want to see from our trophy drivers. Through the final corner we will come. Karasani not as close as he was previously, and he will not get a run up towards turn number 1. And actually, he might be looking on the defensive here of Daniel Greggle. Greggle getting a very good exit here, forcing Karasani to be a little bit defensive. But Karasani has figured out the straight line speed with this car. They figured out something in their setup, that's for sure, because they've got some severe pace. Through turn 1, they all come. You see Henkefend is now ahead of Teo Uverhaus. Uverhaus now trying to defend from Nick Hanke as well. Hanke trying to get into those point-scoring positions. Up the hill they come once again. top 8 separated by about 4.6 seconds. Not a lot between all of them here. As Colin Karasani has a little nudge there on Vivacqua. Vivacqua loses traction but still holds the lead. And actually, the two drivers that are going to gain the most from this is third and fourth. Daniel Greggle down the hill. Maybe going to be close enough. I don't think he is actually going to be close enough to make a move for that P2. And in the background, as there might be contact between third and fourth now, Cal Halper very, very close here to Daniel Greggle. This is the battle for the lead, ladies and gentlemen. And we are nearly 10 minutes in this race. Still Vivacqua leading. Karasani 0.3 of a second behind. We've then got Daniel Greggle, Cal Halper, front four. You could cover them with a loincloth, they're that close. You then got Heinemann, Almeida, you've got Jacob Riegel and Ricky Capo. 4.8 seconds separating all of those drivers. And all it's going to take is one mistake and you're going to lose many, many positions. Henkefend and Uverhaus now starting to close up as well. We've got Nick Hanke just sitting in behind an 11th spot. And as it stands, it is the top 14 under 10 seconds between them all. So here we go. We're going to look at how close Cal Halper got to becoming very good friends there with a Porsche. I think there was a little nudge there, a little kiss to the rear of that Porsche. Could have been so much worse, but I think Gregor may have just let off the brake pressure there a little bit, and we see almost some holding of hands between our leaders as well. So back up to the battle for the lead. Through one we will come. The front four covered by about 0.9 of a second in a race, which is absolutely incredible. Cal Halper, has he got the straight line speed to maybe make a move here on Daniel Gregor? Karasani and Vivacqua have got a little bit of room to maneuver here as Karasani goes for a send up the inside. Will he get it done here? Well, he's going to indeed hold the inside line. Vivacqua's going to run off circuit, and there was no contact between the two drivers. Vivacqua comes back on, almost takes Karasani out. Karasani is actually going to give the position up, which again gives Daniel Gregor the chance to indeed close up, gives Cal Halper the chance to close up. Again, respectful driving from both of them. Didn't have to give that back initially. No one's told him to give that back, but ultimately he's just in tune with his mind is Karasani. He knows what's going on right now and he wants to get this done properly if it's going to happen. But again, the front four now close up because of that. That was an absolute send. Vivacqua read that though really well. He ran off the circuit wide just to make sure there was no contact. Of course, these cars are very, very fragile indeed. As you see here, Almeida is coming through on Tim Heinemann. Through the double left-hander we go. Tries to set it up through the first part. Down towards the S's he will go. It's a brilliant move there from Almeida. Up to a top 5. And now Jacob Riegel with a snifter of an opportunity. Down and towards a final couple of corners of this lap here. You can see that Heinemann has to go defensive. And has Heinemann got a problem here because he's dropping like a stone. As we come then through 9, down towards 10. Jacob Riegel in the number 63. He's got it done as it stands. Tim Heinemann's got to leave that gap on the inside, or on the outside should I say. Riegel runs off the circuit, and as they come across the start-finish line, it's still not done for Jacob Riegel. We know Heinemann's going to make it difficult, but this is an incredible defence here. I think it's going to be in vain as we come then through turn number 1, front four still as they were. Tim Heinemann slides through turn number 1, holds onto the position, and Riegel has to live to fight another day. Capo is going to take full advantage of this though. He has the run of dreams up towards turn number 3. You can see Cal Halper looking to make a move for that podium spot on Daniel Gregor. Gregor very much on the brakes late there, but holds the apex. But Cal Halper's got an incredible run here on that power a lot earlier. Riegel's going to run off circuit. Capo should get a freebie here. Henkefend is also going to try and grab that position from Riegel. Not close enough. And actually, look at this. Ricky Capo's not only going to get Riegel, he's going to get Heinemann down then towards turn number 4. There's this contact between P3 and 4. Off the circuit we go for Cal Halper. Is there too much damage for that car to continue? No, he's going to be fine. Then he finds the escape route there. And is there any damage there to the suspension, maybe the toe link of that BWT AMG? I'm not too sure. We need to see that once again. Battling for 3rd position, and ultimately that is going to ruin Cal Halper's chances of a podium. That is race over for him in terms of battling for that top 3. And there is just action all over the spot. Capo's gone from P8 all the way to P5 in a blink of an eye. The front 4 now, well, front 3 should I say, are separated by about 1.4 seconds. Then there's a gap to Almeida. So Almeida's effectively replaced his teammate as a top 4. And this, well, this is getting absolutely feisty here. Yeah, I'm not sure where Daniel Greggle can go. He can't just disappear. And I think Cal Halper has just missed his braking point. Maybe slid a little bit on the painted curbs as well. Off the circuit he goes, makes the decision very, very early. Do you know what? I've got to go off left here to get the escape road. Comes back on, and pretty sure the car's all good here. So this is not the lead battle, this is the battle for what would be 4th position, or maybe 5th position, should I say. Capo leading this group of cars. And then you've got the front 4 separated by very little. Thiago Vivacqua still leads by 0.4 of a second. We've got Carasani in 2nd position here. And he's kind of isolated the leader. So he's got nothing to worry about in terms of defending from behind now, because Greggle is over a second behind, so not really in the slipstream either. So Carasani has now got to close back up to Vivacqua, and now he can afford to make a couple of attempts here, as it's 3 wide in the background here. Look at this, Heinemann, Regal, and indeed Henkefend. Heinemann's car, there must be something wrong with it, because it's struggling in a straight line, that's for sure. Down then towards 4, we will go. Regal, well, that was a squeeze, to say the very least there. Squeezed enough for Henkefend to run off circuit, and indeed give Heinemann another freebie. Frantic racing action here. Capo's loving life, because that means he can drive away. Heinemann then goes defensive through the double left-hander, thus making him very slow through here. Regal now drives away. He's now in the top 6 here to try and push forward. You know, you got also Hanker trying to make his way up towards that top 8. Uverhouse in the top 10 right now. Jordan Wallace, by the way, out of absolutely nowhere's in P11. So Wallace having an incredible race here. Fulgencio Lona there right down the back of the order as well. They have moved up as well. Of course, Cal Halper falling off the circuit doesn't help things for him. And it does help drivers such as Wallace to make up positions. 16 minutes, 30 seconds left to go. Coming through turn number 1, and it's still Thiago Vivacqua that leads there. Oh, very much on the limit of his tyres. You can almost see the tyre flex there. As indeed the rear stepped out, which is not good. Carasani should get a nice run here. Won't be close enough, I don't think, to make a move this time round, although I could be wrong. How late can you go on the brakes here, Colin? Well, very, very late. He's going to go for it here. He's going to send it up the inside. And is he going to hit the apex this time round? He does. Oh, that's delicious. That's a great move there. He does a lovely block pass as well, which forces Vivacqua to indeed be very sluggish on the exit. He can't get it done. That's brilliant from Carasani. If he's to win this championship, he has to start winning races. That is the way to do it. Down towards 4 they come. And Carasani, the number 47, the Project 1 driver, leads the race. Vivacqua, by the way, just done the fastest lap of the race as well. So a very late move here. Vivacqua was caught napping, really. Could never really defend it. But it wasn't really the first move that held this position. It was this part here. Drives the car across, knows he's clear. And while Vivacqua was always going to be on the power a little bit earlier, but because of the block pass, he just cannot get that power down. He has to let off ever so slightly. Colin Carasani takes the lead. Brilliant stuff there. So Vivacqua still with that fastest lap of the race, but how quick is Carasani? The first time he's got some clear track to work with. And you can see just in the background then it's still Daniel Greggle, Almeida in 4th position. Ricky Capo in the top 5 now with Jacob Regal, who's absolutely flying, by the way. Regal, one of the fastest drivers on the circuit as it stands. Heinemann under some severe pressure here from Lewis Henkefend. And is there the opportunity? Well, that's off track there for Heinemann. Is his tyres gone? Henkefend's got to run up towards turn number 1. And it could go from bad to worse here for Heinemann. Of course, Carasani is going to close the championship gap here. But is Heinemann due to lose a few more positions here? Maybe a few more points before the day is indeed done. Car 31 has to give back the position, apparently. So I'm not sure where the overtake was there from Vivacqua. I'm not sure if Vivacqua's done too much wrong anywhere, but he's been told to give back a position anyway. As we come up then towards turn number 3, Lewis Henkefend gets straight across Tim Heinemann. A bit of a nudge then from Heinemann. And Heinemann is not going to be able to get that power down earlier for now. Henkefend moves up to P7. Can he now go and chase down Jacob Regal? Can he now go and chase down Ricky Capo? Incredible stuff here. So we're going to see the move. So all the way around the outside, Heinemann made it very clear early on. You've got to go around the outside if you want to make this move stick. And he was just about clear. That was brilliant, brilliantly judged there by Henkefend. Heinemann just had to get off the gas, as simple as that. He just nudged him, but it wasn't enough to put Henkefend off. And now Nick Hanker's trying to come through. Heinemann's just dropping further and further back here. It is going from bad to worse. He drops 2 more positions. He's only going to get 1 point. He drops 3 more spots. He's going to get 0 points here. And Carasani, who's now got the fastest lap, it would actually be a massive day. It'd be 28 points he would gain today. And potentially the gap comes down from 60 at the start of the day to 32 going into tomorrow. So running down the final couple of corners here, Nick Hanker has just got to be patient. So I think the tyres are gone here. Of course, Tim will have the success balance on the car. It's going to be heavier because of that. Nick Hanker will be being told that in his ear as well. Thiago Vivacqua who's had 5 third-place finishes this season. He's had 1 second-place finish. Could he go one better? Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be the case, because as soon as Karasani's been given clear track, he's driving away, looking to get his 3rd race victory of the season. Daniel Greggle under some amazing pressure here from Rodrigo Almeida. Is there a podium out there for the BWT Muka Motorsport driver? You can see in the background then Ricky Capo under some pressure here from Jacob Greggle as well. Greggle, I think if he has some clear air, is going to be super quick. Heinemann's dropped behind Hanke now, and look at Taya Uverhaus. Uverhaus right now looking to try and get up to P9 as they come then down in towards turn number 4. Nearly 2/3 of the way through this race. As you can see, Fulgencio and Jordan Wallace, they all fancy themselves at getting a point here as well. And everything is just closing up around that battle for top 10. Henkefend, as soon as he's got ahead here, by the way, is just driving away from this group behind. So Henkefend is on the absolute charge. Very, very quick driving through this middle part of the race. And actually, he is matching pace of the leaders, is Henkefend. Colin Karasani still leading then, as we do indeed watch a battle for 3rd and 4th. And now we're watching a battle for 5th and 6th position. So we see here, Tim Heinemann, again, says to Nick Hanke, you've got to go around the outside if you want to make this stick. And as they come up towards the top of the hill, it's almost a carbon copy of what Henkefend did. Gets straight across the bonnet. Heinemann then tries to go around the outside, open up the corner, and it isn't quite enough. Daniel Greggle then, getting a very nice entry there through turn number 1. Still going to hold on to that position. But this has been an incredible race. Hopefully you've enjoyed this, ladies and gentlemen. This has been one of the best races of the season so far, for sure. And the respect levels has been absolutely immaculate. Daniel Greggle then goes defensive, then decides, you know what? I've got plenty of room to work with here. I'm going to open up that corner. Do not want to be susceptible to a move down towards turn number 4. And on the power, Almeida will get early as Uverhaus tries to make a move then around the outside of Tim Heinemann. Heinemann runs a little bit deep as well, and they're also going to battle down in towards turn number 4. Daniel Greggle does hold on once more. Ricky Capo seems to have sorted himself out a little bit here as well. Jacob Greggle was catching at a rate of knots at one point, but now Capo is doing a pretty good job of holding on to that P5. But again, it's another one of those races of what could it have been. Luckily, we have a second opportunity tomorrow. Oh, that's a big off there. That's a huge off. That's a bit of the car falling off as well. And Almeida wants to hope that there's no real damage. And also at this stage of the race, the tyres are very thin indeed in terms of what tread's left. So you don't really want to be going out into the gravel. We've seen a few punctures this season later on in races. So that's the last place you need to be. Again, Jacob Greggle keeping Capo very honest indeed. So head then down towards that final corner. And off the circuit we go now for Daniel Greggle. So Greggle's starting to struggle here. And I'm wondering whether Almeida is going to be able to send one up the inside here towards turn number 1. Not quite close enough, but if you're patient enough here, just get a nice exit through 1. And then just slipstream all the way up the hill. As we're watching also Greggle trying to make something work on Capo. Henkefend, Hanke, Heinemann as your top 9. Uverhaus right behind Heinemann, trying to get ahead here, as well as Fulgencio. So Fulgencio is now ahead of his teammate Wallace. So Wallace has dropped down, but there's just nothing, absolutely nothing between 9th all the way down to 13th position. Less than a second. Well, there you go. You can see it now. It's the fastest formation lap you're ever likely to see. Uverhaus is ahead here of Heinemann already, and so's Fulgencio. They've got it done, but look at this. You've also got Jordan Wallace. You've got Moritz Lohner as well trying to come through. And again, Heinemann is just falling further and further back. You've got Kalhalper, who you would imagine has got the pace to get past all of these. He was running in P4 quite comfortably as well, but unfortunately ran off here at turn 4, and it was game over as Heinemann tries to send one up the inside of Fulgencio. And right now, you just got to give yourself the best position in terms of not getting any penalties in this race. Don't fight anything you don't need to fight. You want to get points, but ultimately you don't want to have a detrimental effect on the rest of your championship here. You've got a comfortable lead, Tim Heinemann. Don't take too many chances. Look at this in behind. Jordan Wallace, Moritz Lohner and Eduard Kalhalper having a hellacious ding-dong here. Through the S as they come. Wallace mixing it with all of them right now. And he wants to try and get ahead of Heinemann. Fulgencio now fills that final points-paying position as well. And this has been absolutely sensational. Great racing from all concerned. Moritz Lohner finally able to have a bit of breathing room there with Kalhalper. And as you saw, Jordan Wallace there ran a little bit wide. This is the battle then for a top 5. Again, Capo versus Jacob Greggle. And then there's the battle for the podium. Colin Carasani, this is almost as perfect as it could be. As we see a late lunge, potentially Greggle reacts late there, holds onto it. He's going to be sluggish out of this corner. It's going to be sluggish down towards 4, that's for sure. As Greggle trying to maximize his speed there out of 3, runs over that sausage curb as well. And yes, if you are playing maybe some games at home with some beverages, every time I've mentioned sausage curb, well, you're having a good time, I can assure you of that. Down towards 4 we come, in towards that middle sector once again. Thiago Vivacqua, who could so easily have won this race, had to succumb to the pressure at some point. As you see here, Greggle just defending for his life here. They've given up on a chance of going P2 or P1 at this stage. It's all about that final podium spot. Greggle, the form driver in the championship as it stands since the summer break, he's been absolutely brilliant. The puncture last week, or 2 weeks ago, should I say, not his fault, obviously. But yeah, in terms of points and performances, he's been absolutely brilliant. And can he get one more podium to add to his collection for the season? I think Capo will be hoping that these two battle for position so he can maybe catch up. He's about 4 seconds off the pace. Through the final corner they come. And well, off the circuit we go. That's Sterian Folev here. That's a yellow flag. And that is in a very harsh break. And it is a safety car on track here. So 6 minutes, 40 seconds to go. Plus 1 lap. And ladies and gentlemen, we have got ourselves a safety car here. That's going to close the pack up. And wow, makes things very interesting indeed. There is your live championship standings. Then Tim Heinemann on 178 points. Colin Carasani is now only going to be 32 points behind. At the start of the weekend, it was 60. So a massive, massive swing of 28 points. It's almost a perfect day for the BMW driver, but he would not have wanted this. Not a chance would he have wanted a safety car. Teo Overhaus then in P3 in the championship, but realistically, it's going to come down to Colin Carasani versus Tim Heinemann at the Hockenheim Ring as things stand. So yeah, Folev off the circuit here into the gravel. And well, I'm sure we're about to see a replay here of exactly what's happened, but there is the confirmation, of course, that we do indeed have a safety car. Everyone breathe, everyone relax. We've got a sprint race on our hands here. Everybody on very old tires, but everybody is going to close up as well. So here is a replay of Colin Carasani. Well, we know he's up in the lead here, so this is going to be a cool replay. And well, you can almost see those piercing eyes. He looked focused before this race. And well, he has put that focus into play. He's got the lead. Thiago Vivacqua made it so difficult. It's an incredible display by both of them. Really on the limit, but not beyond the limit. And that is some flag waving there. It's impressive flag waving, but I'm only giving it a 4 out of 10. Only a 4 out of 10 for that one. As we see there in the middle of the circuit, there is the ball. So it shouldn't take too long. Should not take too long to recover Folev's car. And there is the potential here to extend the race as well in terms of laps. When we have safety cars, they tend to extend the race. So again, as soon as I find out, I will absolutely let you all know. So there we go, Folev off the circuit. So a very unfortunate day for Sterian Folev. But I could tell you now, since the summer break, he has really come alive in this championship. Everybody's just improved hugely across the whole field. So he'll be back stronger tomorrow, that's for sure. So who's going to win this race? I'm going to ask for predictions, ladies and gentlemen. People watching right now on YouTube, I'm watching the chat right now, I can see you. You can also send me a tweet at ActrolVision, or you can send me a message on Instagram. Who's winning this race from here? It will be Carasani that takes them away. It will be Thiago Vivacqua in 2nd position. Daniel Greggle in 3rd. Almeida will be in 4th. That'll be interesting between those two. Daniel Greggle, by the way, has made his Porsche as wide as the GT3. He's made it as wide as a DTM Porsche, because he has managed to hold on to that position. Almeida has thrown everything at him. Both the pink cars have thrown everything at Daniel Greggle, and he has not blinked. He has not blinked at all. He's gained 1 spot in this race, and well, that podium will be there. Safety car wins. I'm not sure that's going to happen here, Des. I like it, though. Overhaus, we've got Moritz Lerner fans, Nick to win, Colin to win, Teo. Gianni Vecchio. How you doing, Gianni? On behalf of Enzo, what a guy. Hope you well. Hope the Team Red Line crew all good. So safety car is in this lap. Oh, Gianni's in the chat. I can't say Moritz is everyone's favourite sim racer anymore, so let's ruin that one. Anyway, safety car in this lap here. 2 minutes, 50 seconds left on the clock, plus 1 lap. It comes down to this here at the Red Bull Ring. Colin Carasani in the lead again, has to win this race effectively, has to close that championship lead down. Thiago Vivacqua in second spot, of course, started from pole position. Waiting for those green lights to appear here. 2 minutes, 30 seconds left on the clock. Who's going to come out on top here? Who will get those 25 points? As we get the slow run down the hill. And there we go, we are green light racing. And I tell you what, it's a pretty good start there from Daniel Greggle. Well, Colin Carasani's been completely mugged off here. He's going to drop down to third spot. Look at Henkefend, he's on the inside then of Ricky Capo. Jacob Regal's going to go round the outside, 4 wide. Jacob Regal's going to get all positions there as well, up to a top 4. Wow, incredible stuff there, ever so slightly goes off circuit. Carasani, by the way, has figured out his situation here, down to P3, then up to P2 again. Greggle's being blocked off by Vivacqua, and well, in the blink of an eye here, I think you might find the Dutchman is going to take the lead this race once again. Incredible start here. Jacob Regal's going for a podium as well. Off the circuit he will go. Down towards turn number 4 they come, and it is an absolute shuffle here after the safety car. And we've got 2 laps. We've got an extra lap after the 0 has come through because of the safety car. But as it stands then, it is the race lead for Carasani. Vivacqua is in second. Daniel Greggle is in third. What about Heinemann? Did he gain any spots? No, he's P13. So it's looking likely it is going to be 0 points here. It's going to be the perfect day for Carasani, as Daniel Greggle is now battling with Almeida for that top 4. Daniel Greggle's going to run wide. And I tell you what, Henkefend, outside the top 10 in qualifying, is in a top 5. He's racing for his grandma. And wow, what performances. We see a car up in the air there. The nose is up in the air of Cal Halper. I think you'll find us Daniel Greggle off the circuit here as well. He's going to beach it here. Back onto the circuit, the BWT AMG will come back on. And wow, up like a surfboard here. The AMG was up like a surfboard. Ricky Capo trying to take full advantage of the situation as well. He's now moved up into 6th position from 9th in 1 lap and looking for that top 5. Nick Hanker's also up the order here as well. And as we come then across the line, we've got 3 laps remaining in this race. Down towards turn number 1, Carasani with that gap to work with again. Henkefend is absolutely on the charger, although he does run wide there. As I say that, the commentator's curse does come into effect. Ricky Capo now defended from Moritz Lohner. Moritz Lohner one side, Teo Overhaus the other side. You've got a Porsche in the middle. He's the meat of the sandwich. Jacob Regal tries to make a move around the outside here. Thiago Vivacqua tries to squeeze Vivacqua onto the apex of turn number 3. And Vivacqua then sweeps out wide and holds onto that position. Incredible stuff here at the Red Bull Ring. So we have got ourselves 2 laps to go once they next cross the line. Papadopoulos, by the way, in that yellow and black AMG, battling here with Mark De Fulgencio. Heinemann again dropping further and further back. Vivacqua squeezing Regal out wide there as well in that battle for second position. Again, this is brilliant for our race leader. Carasani needs them to battle in behind just so he has that peace of mind. As now you can see here Ricky Capo trying to retake the position of Moritz Lohner. He lost 2 spots there. One went round the outside, one went up the inside. And yet Capo can't buy a bit of luck, unfortunately. Through the S's then, they will indeed come. Once again, with 2 laps to go, my voice has started to go. It's been that kind of race. And well, we're going to see exactly what went down here. So you got up the inside then, you got number 19 of Almeida, and there's a little nudge on Daniel Greggle, not too sure there's too much in that. And then this next part here is where things get very fruity indeed. And oh yeah, look at that, Cal Halper is just driven up the side there of Daniel Greggle. Poor Daniel Greggle there has had a bit of contact there with the pink AMGs. And how is the Porsche still going? How is actually Cal Halper still going? Well, the answer to that question is Cal Halper isn't still going. So Daniel Greggle moves off the circuit. He then finds the escape route, but he drops all the way down to P15. And wow, that is one way of trying to get ahead of someone, by going over them. So Cal Halper has tried to do a Lightning McQueen, and unfortunately has ended up off the circuit and out of the points. 2 laps to go then, 1.5, shall we say. Carasani had to win today, had to be perfect. Oh, it's looking good for him. He is in P1 as it stands, looking for his 3rd race victory of the season. And we've got Vivacqua then in second spot. Jacob Greggle is in third position. What a drive it's been from that Speed Monkeys driver, by the way, in the Aston Martin. Incredible drive from him. And then you've got Almeida in fourth spot. Lewis Henkefend, which for me, apart from Karasani, I would say he was driver of the day in all fairness, because he was well out of position in qualifying, but to get a top 5 is absolutely exceptional. He just looked so quick. He might even gain another spot here on Almeida, the way he's been driving. And then you've got, indeed, Uverhouse in 7th position. We've got Lona, Ricky Capo, Papadopoulos again, snaffling up those points. If there's points on offer this season, Papadopoulos will find a way to get them, since the summer break anyway. So yeah, he'll be very happy with that. Who's right in behind him is De Fulgencio. So it's about 0.3 of a second between the two of them as we come round that final corner. Colin Karasani came into this weekend 60 points behind Tim Heinemann. He would have been dreaming of Heinemann scoring 0 points. He would have been dreaming of scoring points in qualifying. He got 2. And then he would have been thinking, can I get the fastest lap of the race and get that extra 1 point? Could I go out there and win? Could I close that championship gap? He would have been hoping for 5, 6, maybe 10 points from this race to close that gap down to 50. And as it stands, as Jordan Wallace then is off the circuit, that front left looks like it's punctured as well. So that is not ideal, especially on the last lap of this race, and we'll drop down to P14. But Colin Karasani may just about be able to close that gap by 28 points. So it's going to go from 60 down to 32. Things are about to get very interesting indeed as we see a battle then between Hoffman and Wallace. And yeah, it just pops straight over the curb on the inside. And unfortunately, that would be what's caused the puncture. I guess the puncture might have already happened, actually, in terms of the braking. No, tyre looks good there. Yeah, a little bit of contact with the left of Hoffman's car. And yeah, unfortunately, that is all on Wallace there. Just a bit of a dive up the inside of Hoffman. And ultimately, the contact has indeed destroyed any chance of points. Through the S as we come 2 corners to go. Colin Karasani, disappointment in Spa. It was a big weekend for him. It just did not go well. The Project One driver had to bounce back here at the Red Bull Ring. He had to take at least 3 victories from the season, from this weekend. And I tell you what, he's done it in race number 1. It's 3 victories in the season. Colin Karasani closes the championship lead down to 32. And we have got a championship on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. The Dutchman gets the win here in Austria. It's second for Thiago Vivacqua, another second to add to his collection. We then got Jacob Greggle, who makes an incredible run to get up at the P3. As yes, absolutely a deserved applause there for the drivers. Incredible racing from them all. Almeida in P4, Henkefend up to P5 with a great drive in his own right. The Project One team are going to be superbly happy with both drivers. We then got Nick Hanke P6 for Speed Monkeys as well. Teo Uverhouse in 7th position. Moritz Lona, Capo, Papadopoulos round out your top 10 and your points finish. But it's all about this young man here. Colin Karasani came into this weekend with a job to do. He's absolutely done that job. Congratulations to him. He does take the checkered flag as we do get a lovely replay here. And the nerves would have been there. The adrenaline would have been pumping through his veins. And runs towards the checkered flag. And the smile will be from ear to ear. Great performance. Hugs all round. A graduate from the BMW M2 Cup. And now, well in the championship hunt, heading into the final 3 races of this season. What a spectacle, ladies and gentlemen. If it's the first time you've tuned in, make sure you subscribe to this DTM channel. As you can see, then the damaged Jordan Wallace. He will cross the line. He will finish in P15, but it will be via the pits. We have got this all again tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So tomorrow, early in the morning, just before 9 a.m. local time, just before 8 a.m. local time in the UK, and just before 4 a.m. on the east coast of America. If you're dedicated, you'll be here. There will be a qualifying session for race number 2. And then at exactly the same time as we've just had, it will be race number 2. Colin Karasani for Project One takes the race victory. Thiago Vivacqua, another podium for him, makes it 7 podiums of the season. He's in second. Jacob Greggle, that's an impressive drive there from the Speed Monkeys driver. He's P3. Almeida 4th position there for BWT Muka Motorsport. Henkefend is in 5th then for Project One. Nick Hanke for Speed Monkeys is indeed in 6th position. Uverhouse and Lona are in 7th and 8th position. Capo and Papadopoulos round out your top 10 and the points again. Papadopoulos picking up points again, consistently being in that top 10. Fulgencio, Heinemann, Hoffman, Greggle, and Wallace are your classified driver. As now, I'll leave you with the podium. Speed Monkeys team, such a close unit. There's a lot of moving parts in that team. They celebrate wins together, they celebrate podiums together. They also work together very strongly when things don't go so well. Karasani and Regal bracing. Karasani taking his 3rd race victory of the season. And I think you'll find he has to win at least 5 this season for him to be considering winning this championship, but he's done the first job. He's closed that championship lead. Coming into today, if you'd offered him 28 points to take out of the championship lead of 60, he probably would have laughed at you. He's done exactly that. Almost halved it in one race.
DTM Trophy auf der 3. Position, Greggle. Herzlichen Glückwunsch. Gratulation. Trophy wird erreicht von Oliver Schermuber von Strandliebe mit der Trophy für unsere Drittplatzierten hier, Greggle. Auf Platz 2 hier in diesem ersten Rennen. In second place, Thiago Vivacqua aus Brasilien. Max Lepschi von Sony Music mit der Trophy für Thiago Vivacqua. So, damit kommen wir zum Teammanager vom Team Project One, Marcel Jürgen Zwickmann. Herzlichen Glückwunsch, das Gewinnerteam hier. Und auch hier wieder Oliver Schermuber und Strandliebe mit der Trophy für unser Siegerteam. Project One hier erfolgreich im ersten Rennen zur DTM Trophy in Spielberg. Und unser Sieger, Winner of Frankfurt, Colin Caresani. Max Lepschi von Sony Music auch hier wieder mit der Trophäe für Colin Caresani. Congrats guys. Und jetzt zu einem des Siegers, der Run of Winner, the Dutch National Anthem. Bitte die Trophies nehmen. Guys, grab the trophies, get together for the podium photo. Das hier, das Podiumsfoto, Airlines DTM Trophy. Und herzlichen Glückwunsch, Congrats, and now it's time to celebrate. Champagne!